Aloha, Honorable Chair Hokama, esteemed council members, and Committee on Policy and Intergovernmental Affairs, and good citizens of Maui. My name is Dr. Joe Ritter. I'm a physicist and interdisciplinary scientist, long-term Maui resident and taxpayer. Thank you all for the opportunity to discuss objective science related to the intent of the Most Honorable Ellie Cochran's bill, PIA 58. What are my qualifications to talk about this? I grew up on a farm. I learned to work on a farm. I'm in total support of local Maui County resident farmers and their rights. Although the council members may know me from my NASA work or as a PhD physicist and expert in radiative transfer and light pollution for the county, I actually began my scientific career in laboratories as a teenager in the field of teratology, which is the study of birth defects. Teratology is closely related to cancer research. They are both about cells which do not reproduce correctly. When I got a little older, I co-authored several peer-reviewed teratology publications. At the age of 19, was a keynote speaker at the 61st meeting of the Mid-Atlantic Reproduction and Teratology Society in Groton. Years ago, I had a faculty appointment in animal science at the College of Agriculture, Farming, and Natural Resource Management, the Ag College in Hilo. I flew a genetics payload, a genetics toxicology experiment on NASA Space Shuttle mission STS-91. I'm a far better physicist than biochemist or geneticist, but I have some small knowledge to share in this field that concerns us today, the field of toxicology. When I was younger, our group's peer-reviewed, published research performed at the Institute for Developmental Research at the Cincinnati Children's Hospital with the Medical School of the University of Cincinnati used Wistar rats as test models for human reproductive systems. We saw significantly increased damaging effect from administering multiple chemicals together to mothers. Those are mother rats. We often had results where giving a single safe chemical would cause no statistically, 0 to a few % malformed embryos. But if multiple safe chemicals were given together, we might see upwards of 80 to 90% malformed young. This was tremendously helpful in understanding proximate biochemical pathology pathways and absolutely disastrous for the test subjects exposed to these chemical cocktails. Decades of science clearly shows that chemicals administered together can have a multiplicatively bad effect on embryos and significantly increase negative health effects that tests using single components cannot reveal. This dangerous potentiative effect of chemical cocktail spraying is what concerns us. On Maui, we see widespread application of cocktail herbicides and pesticides with as many as 50 components. Corporate chills say, prove it is dangerous, yet claims of safety. Sir, may I please have 60 more seconds coming up? Thank you. The claims of safety are often based on research tests of a single ingredient, not the combination cocktail applied to crops and through runoff and drift applied to humans on Maui. Safety claims of cocktails based on tests of single components are not valid or convincing to those who understand the fundamental science. Short of the ideal, which would be a federal moratorium on these cocktails, until adequately studied, at minimum, I urge you to protect us on Maui. Why not protect our right to know what is sprayed and keep control of that on Maui? Do not relinquish these decisions to the state. The state constitution is clear in directing our public officials to preserve our health and natural resources. Please do not let unsubstantiated, fearful claims of job loss prevent county action. Please do not fear being open. Council, your health is at stake as well as mine and all of the residents of Maui. Thank you for your consideration of this view based on science and real concern for our community.
4 minutes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ritter, on your testimony. Members, any questions on Dr. Ritter's testimony?
Sure.
Ms. Cochran?
Thank you, Dr. Ritter, for being here and bringing that perspective, the actual scientific and you mentioned lack of, I guess, tests or research on the cocktail mixture of chemicals. And you're in essence saying that is occurring here, and thereby
there's a lack of research. Thank you for the question. I appreciate being able to elaborate on this. When we did research in birth defects, which is the flip side of cancer research, both cells that don't grow correctly, we would often see a safe chemical, called chemical A, administered and see virtually no effects. And same thing for chemical B. Yet when given together, we would see disastrous effects. The point is that if you have 50 different things in something, you have 50 factorial different combinations. If you have 4 things in something, you have 10 different possible combinations you could look at. Okay, so the real issue, and actually there are combinatorics and they grow more than exponentially. The point is, when tests are done, they're typically on a component. And so people will say, gee, this is safe, it's been tested, we've looked at this ingredient. The point is, the combinations are not safe. You can drink a beer, you can take a sleeping pill. You aren't supposed to take them together. This is what's called a potentiative effect. It's multiplicative. It's much more than just an additive effect. And this is the significant issue. This testing has not been done adequately at any level, and I have some expertise in this field. I have refereed publications in this field from when I became an astrophysicist. So I hope that answers your question. This is not adequately tested at all. I grew up on a farm. I am not against pesticides. I'm not against what we need to do for local agriculture. I am a fan of local farmers and human residents that are farmers. But I'm very scared about what is happening here, and I urge simply to have transparency. And I thank the council for considering these views based on science.
Thank you, Dr. Ritter. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Any other member has a question for Dr. Ritter? Having none, Dr. Ritter, thank you very much for your presence.
Thank you all very much.